Choujin X. Now, this series, honestly, when I saw this series, I wasn't really too excited to read it. That's because I didn't know who was the one who made it. Flashback to yesterday, and I saw the series again. I saw who it was made by. It was made by the same author as the one who created Tokyo Ghoul. And that's when it got me sold. I was sold on this series the moment I found out that the author of this series is the same author as the author of Tokyo Ghoul. So I started reading this manga, and I knew it was going to be dark. I knew it was going to be dark. Like, if we had Tokyo Ghoul and they went to something lighthearted from this author, I wouldn't believe it. I would not believe it. I'd probably think that this was before Tokyo Ghoul was made. But, damn. Like, this series is really, really dark. Like, it's dark. It is really, really dark, and honestly, I did not expect to get this dark so quickly. But before I begin with this video and I talk about Choujin X, make sure to, of course, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Here on the channel, I talk about anime and, of course, manga. I try to upload weekly videos, like daily videos. I try to upload it daily. But if I can't upload daily, I try to upload it weekly. But if you guys have any recommendations of, let's say, any manga that you guys want me to cover, or any anime that you guys want me to cover, of course, go ahead and tell me in the comments below. And who knows, maybe my next video will actually be about your favorite series. But Choujin X, like I said, this series is dark. This series is made by the same author as Tokyo Ghoul, ISHIDA Sui, right? ISHIDA Sui, and my God, like I said, this series is dark. It is really, really dark, and one of the I'm just gonna get the complaint out the way. Okay, I think it's best if I start off with the complaint, and then I can, do the whole video of me talking about my favorite things about this series. So, the complaint I have of the series is just a really, really small complaint, which is about the upload schedule when the chapters get released. Because if you guys don't know, this series, ISHIDA Sui pretty much has free range to, like, he can decide whenever he wants to post a new chapter, to release a new chapter. He can decide whenever he wants to release it. For example, he can release one chapter, let's say, tomorrow, that has already been pre-drawn and is ready to go. Or he can upload it next week. Or he can release it next month. Or he could release it next year. Understand my problem? If we don't really know when the chapters are gonna come out, it's gonna be pretty unpredictable to keep up with it with every single chapter. You're probably better off just dropping the series and waiting until we get more chapters, or until we get, the conclusion to this series. Because for all we know, this series could be a short series, or it could be a long series, right? We don't really know, and because we don't know when the chapters are gonna come out, it's gonna be pretty hard to keep up with it every single chapter, because, like I said, you don't know when the chapters are gonna come out, because the author is the one that decides when the chapters come out. And honestly, even though I'm not 100% cool with that, I can understand. I can understand why, because, I mean, look at what happened with the author of Berserk, Kentaro Miura. He died, he passed away, right? He passed away. And that's pretty much because he overworked himself. He kept on, drawing. Of course, you know how many hiatuses the author of Berserk took. You know how long it takes just for one chapter to pretty much get released, like, throughout the year, right? Like, with each year we've got less and less chapters, right? And this is because, like, the author of Berserk is supposed to be a monthly series, but it's not. It wasn't a monthly series. It took many months. Heck, it took years until the next chapter came out, right? And this is pretty much because he took so many hiatuses and he decided to be like, okay, I finished the chapter, let me release it. And with the author of, Choujin X deciding whenever he wants to post to put his chapters, like I said, this doesn't really put him in a huge deadline. It doesn't put on a deadline of like, I need to finish this by the end of this month or by the end of this week. He has the time to work on his series. But at the same time, with him or with the author not really, specifying when this chapter is going to come out, this leaves room to what's going to happen to, let's say, the author of Berserk. Took a lot of hiatuses to where he didn't really post anything, He posted a few chapters throughout the year, or you could have like Hunter x Hunter, which the same thing, right? And like I said, this is just a small complaint that I have with the series, because if you don't really know when the chapters are going to come out, it can be a problem, which could make a lot of people be like, I'm not gonna read this series until the series has a bunch of chapters, or like the series is over, right? Which, that's probably what I'm actually gonna do. I'm probably gonna do that. I go up to like this chapter. Don't get me wrong, I'm loving the series, but if I don't know when the chapters are gonna come out, I don't think I'm gonna keep up with the series until we get a lot more chapters. When we get more chapters, that's when I'll, catch up to the series, and who knows, maybe I'll do a part 2 of this video talking about the overall story. But enough with me complaining. Let's talk about what the series is about. Let's talk about the amazing moments of this series, because this series is amazing, and I'm not here to bore you guys. I'm here to make you, if you have not read the series, to read it. And for those who have read the series, to like this video and to somewhat agree with my opinions. That's my goal with this video, okay? But Choujin X, honestly, like I said, this series is dark. It is really, really dark. The characters, I love the characters, honestly. If you guys are wondering what the series is actually about, let me give you guys a brief description before I talk about the amazing characters. But Choujin X is pretty much about like these characters. They get this power called Choujin, and the way to obtain this power is by having an injection, pretty much, on somewhere on your body. It could be on the neck, arm. It doesn't really matter. But pretty much this Choujin power, it gives you special abilities, but you don't really know what type of ability you're gonna have. For example, there was a character who he got a power to where he could stretch, right? There's a small spoiler of what the story is about, but yeah, I'm just giving you guys an example. This guy, he can stretch. Or you have someone who can light fire. Or you have someone like a main character who can turn into a bird. Someone like have features of a bird, right? And these characteristics, these powers, you don't really get to choose. These powers just happen. And there is still a lot of mystery behind these powers, like how do you know what type of power you have? Why do you have this power? Who created it? What's going on? Right? There's still a bunch of questions, and of course, it makes sense. We're only at chapter 4, okay? We're only on chapter 4, and since we're on chapter 4, there's still so many questions we have, but even if we're in chapter 4, my god, the amount of content that we've covered thus far, honestly, it could literally go into its own arc of like 12 to 13 chapters, right? Because this series, like, these 4 chapters have just been back-to-back action, and just amazing world building and stuff like that. I love the main character. I love the other characters. Like, all the characters in the series is really amazing. And honestly, the main character's friend, I'm in a little bit in the middle of him, because, like, he acts cool, right? At first, he was a nerd. I literally thought that he was, like, a nerd, like, he couldn't do anything, but no, he's not a nerd. He's actually someone who can put up a fight. You got the friend where, like, he's open book, he always tries to figure out what to do, stuff like that, but of course, when shit hits the fan, he doesn't really know what to do. Right, like he kind of goes in a small breakdown, look at what he did to our main character in chapter 3 or chapter 4. I need to reread it, but yeah, like all the characters I really like, especially the main villain. Like the main villain, he's definitely given me a ton of intriguing, and you know his powers definitely give me a lot of vibes of, like, let's say like Fire Force, or let's say like a manga called Fire Punch, which is by the same author of Chainsaw Man, right? Honestly, like main villain, he definitely gives me a lot of those vibes, right? Like a lot of the Fire Force and of course Fire Punch vibes, right? And I really like it. Overall, the story is really great. I really am enjoying this series, and this series is dark. It is really dark. Like, if you guys love Tokyo Ghoul, I'm not talking about the anime. I'm not here to talk about the anime. I'm here to talk about the manga. If you guys love the Tokyo Ghoul manga, you guys are gonna love this series. Like 100%. It's made by the same author. Like, why would you like it? You would like it, this series. You're gonna like this series. I know you're gonna like this series. Okay, I know you are, because I'm enjoying this series a lot. Okay, I'm enjoying the series a lot, and honestly, even if I have to wait a long time and it's uncertain of when the next chapter is going to come out, even if I have to put the series on hold until it has more chapters, I am excited to see where this story is going to go. I really am excited to see how the story is going to go. Our main character, what's going to happen with him, especially at the end of this week, of the latest chapter. What's going to happen to him? Because my god, the stuff that's been happening to our main character, it's dark. It's somewhat similar to what happened to Kaneki in Kaneki in Tokyo Ghoul. Somewhat similar, but my god, it's dark. This series is dark. You guys need to read it to believe me. But hopefully I did, sold you on this series, if you guys have not read this series. And if you guys have got to the latest chapter, what do you think of the overall story? Now that you've got up to the latest chapter, are you guys planning to, drop this series until we get more chapters, like I'm planning to do? Or are you just going to be like, yeah, I'm going to try and follow the series, I'm going to try to find out when the next chapter is going to come out. It's uncertain, but I'll try to find out. Or you can just be like, yeah, I'm not really going to watch this series, not really the thing for me, because, I mean, the series is dark. It's very understandable if you don't like dark stories, such as this one. Dark action is similar to Tokyo Ghoul. It's understandable why you wouldn't really like this series, but, yeah. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. And don't forget to subscribe, of course. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Give me some recommendations of anime or manga you want me to talk about. And I'll see you all next time.